Believe you can see. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Justice, and if this is your first time seeing my face, you're welcome to the family. And if you're a returning subscriber, I just want to say thank you for coming back. A group hug. So in today's video, I decided to do my monthly favorite, which is the month of February, what I enjoyed, what I bought, and what I've currently been doing. Let's just say it's an update of the month of February. So for the ado, let's go straight into the video. I didn't really do much in fashion. Like, I basically wear the same thing over and over again because it's cold and you just have to put on your winter. It did snow this month, so I wore the same thing. But I did get some items from Zara and Pretty Little Things. I actually got this blue jeans baggy. When I mean it's baggy, I got it in size 14, so it's bigger than me. I'm a size 12-10. But this is, I just like how the waist is, like it's really high waisted and I like it. The only thing I don't like is the fact that it doesn't like grab my bum very well, which is fine because it's baggy. I like it, and I really like the splits on it, and I've been wearing it since I bought it. Another trouser I got was from Zara. It's a baggy trouser because I've been loving baggy outfit recently. It's a creamy colored trouser. I haven't worn that one yet. So for shoes, I got a boot. Let me just show you right now. So I got this boot from Missguided. Believe you can see it's like 20 pounds. I haven't worn it that much. I've only worn it once because it was snowing, so I decided to get something like this. But when it came, I haven't seen any snow. And that's basically it for fashion. So moving on to media, I wanted to incorporate media into this because as a media student, it's always good to reflect on what you've watched, what you've listened to, and what you've read. So yeah, let's go into the books. I read 2 books in the month of February, which I am so proud of because reading is something I find hard to do, and I just decided, okay, my 2021 goals, I'm gonna read more. And I was lucky that my first book for the month of February was Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and I really loved it. Like, I didn't even want the book to end. Can you imagine? I loved it. And then the second book I read was Why We Should All Be a Feminist, and I could totally relate to it because being an African, being black and African, it's something that they take for granted that women should have a say in certain things. Moving on to music, I have 3 favorites for the month of February that I've been listening to. I found one recently called Focus by Joeboy. You don't need to and you only need to. So that's one of my favorites. Then my second favorite is by Montel Fish. I really loved music, like calm music, and he just gave it to me in that vibe, like ooh. Then the next one was Sis by Brianna. I don't think I'm saying her name well. She's a British artist.
Doing your thing, frontal hella laid, then your edges on swim, and you too slide to be.
Okay, moving on to podcasts. As you all know, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and for this month, the podcast that really stood up to me was a podcast called Second Nature, and they talked about feminism, what it means to be a feminist as a Christian, basically, and having people talk about it was really interesting because sometimes we want to be a feminist, but we want to also do it the right way as a Christian. So on the side of films, like you all know, I love making films. I don't have any films yet, but I in the process, we get in there. But yeah, in the films aspect, I've been watching documentary lately, probably because I have to make a short documentary next month, so I've just been like getting to know the world of documentary. And the first one I want to talk about is Bleeding Edge, which talked about the the medical devices they use in the health sector, and how they don't even do proper research in most of all these medical devices, and the damages it could lead or it could cause in someone's life. So it was a touching story. Like, I really felt sad for those women that came out to speak, the pain they're going through. That was sad. And the second documentary was for Salma. If you haven't watched it, I advise you should watch it. And if you're very, like, most of all these documentaries I'm going to talk about, the films I'm talking about this month, is if you're very sensitive, please, I wouldn't advise you to watch all of them, but if you're very sensitive, please just be careful. But it's always good to educate yourself with things like this, because this is what's happening. You have to know. But yeah, for Salma was a documentary about the war in Pakistan. Like, you're like living, that was my phone, you're like living it. Just that there is no, obviously they've edited some part, but it felt so real. Like, I was sitting on my bed and I was literally crying with what was going on. It felt so, and the fact that I had to do some research, I saw the interviews and they were like, that was like 20% of what happened, because they don't want to show us the 80% and how bloody. And lastly, the last film I want to talk about is basically not a film but a YouTube video I saw on sickle cell. How, I think she said the topic was how, oh no, she said I've got sickle cell anemia, and I've been doing a lot of research on like the mental health space, the sickle cell, all of that, because of my documentary as well. And I found this one, sickle cell in Nigeria. She's a Nigerian YouTuber called Fari Baisisi. I think that's what her name is, and she just stood out to me. Like, she's brave. Like, people with one problem or the other, they are really like trying, like they're just strong. And she telling us her story on her YouTube video was really inspiring. Like, I never knew that much about sickle cell. I'm sure my viewers, they don't even know much about that, but it's still, I reckon you watch it so you get what I'm saying. Like, I also cried. Like, one thing I knew about sickle cell was never get married to someone with AA or something like that, just knowing your blood type. But I didn't know how serious and how severe being a sickle cell patient is. Like, the pain you have to go through, and how it affects the family as well, because things like this doesn't just affect you alone as a sickle cell, but it affects the people. And if you're in Nigeria and you now have sickle cell, the money you spend is way too much, like financial problems, all of that. It just makes me wonder, like, wow, things like this do exist and no one is talking about it. Like, I think it's time for people to get this, to be aware of certain things. It's not just like, we need to start becoming aware of things that's happening around us. Basically, two Bible verse that really inspired me in the month of February is Psalm 62 verse 1, that says, I'll wait quietly for my victory. I think that's what, I'll wait quietly before God, for my victory comes from him. It's like the same one that says, my helps come from the Lord who made heaven and earth. So it's basically that, Psalm 62 verse 1. And yeah, so guys, that's basically it for today's video. If you have anything to say, just comment it down below. And yeah, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And if you also enjoyed something in the month of February, the films you watch, or even the podcast you've been listening to, please let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.